Welcome to Game 3 of Vanguard, Northern Alliance versus the Nightstalkers. And this is a view of our table setup for the game. We are playing the snowblind scenario. There will be four random little points in the middle there, and a tablet marker will appear on one of these points. The model that controls the tablet at the end of the game will win. And here's a view of the four little markers, and the armies are deployed around these markers. So we have here the little marker that we're using as the primary objective, the tablet, the legendary tablet that the armies will be fighting for. And again, this will appear after round 2. And then we also have weather effects on the table. This is one of the areas where Nightstalkers are deployed. In the first round, the weather is terrible. There's only 4-inch visibility. And this is one of the views of the Northern Alliance deployments on one of the sides of the table. And so the weather doesn't clear until round 2 of the game, when our visibility becomes 8 inches. And Northern Alliance has a couple of scouts, and so they are deploying ahead of the deployment zones for Northern Alliance. And here's another view of that scout. She is well ahead of the band there, and you can see the little cotton we're using to represent the blowing snow to remind us of the weather. And this is the last view from one of the Nightstalker deployment zones. And so this is the second deployment zone for the Nightstalkers. So the first round really is all about trying to move in the storm. Line of sight is only 4 inches, or really visibility. Models do spot each other in round 1, but by the time they spot each other, it's too late to do anything else. So we mark those with little yellow tokens to indicate when models spot each other. And here, one PowerPoint is used to do a group action. And again, this is a view to show sort of the cotton that we placed in front of the models to kind of represent all of the snow blowing around, and they can barely see each other. So there are these spot tokens that I just mentioned, and that just helped us to identify which models saw who for the next round. And then that was pretty much the end phase to round 1. We cleared up some of the tokens. Really not much happened in round 1. We were just moving around, trying to negotiate the storm, moving past each other. By the time round 2 came, and this is round 2, line of sight has improved. The storm is passing, and so line of sight is now 8 inches, and all hell breaks loose. Nightstalkers use PowerPoints here. They have 3 PowerPoints for this round. That's actually what this picture is supposed to indicate. And the Northern Alliance also has 3 PowerPoints. So we were very even in round 2 with the amount of PowerPoints that we had. And we didn't roll so well despite the rerolls by our commanders. So the first sort of action in round 2, a snow giant ends up getting a wound by the attack of a butcher from the Nightstalkers. The ice giant retaliates, and here we show the dice, 2 exploding 8s, which is go figure. Now the Butcher used power to boost his armor saves to try and counteract all those hits, and he still gets 2 wounds. The Northern Alliance commander actually charges into that wounded Butcher. Her bloodlust is triggered, but she misses the attack. The Butcher now retaliates against the Northern Alliance commander, who just charged in to support the Ice Giant. Lo and behold, while he gets an activated result and a fatigued result, he manages to take out the Northern Alliance commander during this retaliation. Now, one of the hounds in another part of the board, the Nightstalker hounds, uses the faction ability called Dread. That faction ability causes the target model to basically become activated. So it's like it's frozen in place with fear. A very good ability for the Nightstalkers. It uses 1 power, and it's too bad I couldn't use it more often. Interestingly enough, that same hound later on in the round gets killed by a Huskar that moves around, uses power for an extra bonus dice during melee, and kills the hound. Nightstalkers then elsewhere on the board use a mob assault ability. It is triggered when the Scarecrow does a group assault with the Phantom against one of the humans. Here is a view of that mob assault. The human remains alive, however. He now is ready for retaliation, but he misses when retaliating against the Phantom. So this human was a pretty brave one. And then he turns to retaliate against the Scarecrow, but the Scarecrow saves the hit. And so during this mob assault, well, nothing really happened. It was a failed attempt by Nightstalkers. It is now the end phase of round 2, and as we clean up tokens, the tablet is revealed. And we had to roll to see which one of those 4 points in the middle of the board the tablet pops out on. And here is a view of the tablet, and you can see a Nightstalker model not very far, one of the Butchers. So round 2 is over. Weather conditions are improving. Round 3, Northern Alliance, 3 power. Nightstalkers, 5 power. And so the first casualty in round 3 was actually a Nightstalker, despite the good amount of power that the faction received during this round. So we'll see. So this Naid pictured here, she attacked the Nightstalker Butcher from the rear in an attempt to bog him down so he doesn't go after the objective. And it worked. She caused 2 wounds, actually, to him. The Butcher then turns around, faces her, and retaliates, but his retaliation fails. And this was despite any power that was added. So, bad luck on the Nightstalkers. Here's another view of that fight, the Ice Naiad, which is pretty much like an elf, really. Fighting with the Butcher there, struggling with the Butcher. 2 wounds on the Butcher, 1 wound on her. And then this is a point in round 3 when Northern Alliance just swoops in and grabs the objective. 1 short action to move, 1 short action to pick it up. One of the Reapers, I was trying to get at the model that has the primary objective, but he charges the Huskar who's in his way first. So now that Night Stalker model is bogged down, and the Huskar gets a chance to retaliate and causes a wound on the Soul Drinker. Northern Alliance now has a tablet, and a Huskar actually moves in to protect the tablet holder. And the tablet holder is the female figure, the Ice Hunter, I believe. Ice Hunter Kin. Okay, and so one of the hounds charges into one of the human figures from Northern Alliance, and it does his attack. And that hound actually kills the human, and I believe there was an exploding 8 involved, actually. So he obviously did not save, and the model is taken out of the game. Despite all this, by the time round 4 came, the Night Stalkers have lost a ton of models, nearly half the army. So, and this was due to a lot of factors. So, I'm pretty much about to call it. And in the beginning of round 4 is the end of one of the phantoms, and the down but not down rule that usually protects these models, it really didn't help. If you fail your nerve test, it really doesn't help. And here is Julie smiling. And yes, here are the Night Stalker casualties by the time we got to round 4. So not too good for the Night Stalkers. And Northern Alliance did lose its commander and one of the ice giants, but it really wasn't enough. And round 4, Night Stalkers are dwindled to nearly nothing, and we see the winning model there, the model with the tablet, the female berserker. She's a half-elf berserker, and there's the tablet on her card. And it is a Northern Alliance victory. There is the familiar handshake after the game. Crushing defeat for Night Stalkers. The dice gods were definitely against the Night Stalkers. Even with rules like down but not down, where it kind of helps you, it keeps models on the table. Those that don't have the grunt keyword are the ones that benefit from this rule. But when you're rolling a 1 on your nerve test, and that's the condition to that rule, you have to pass a nerve test, and you're rolling 1s and 2s, it doesn't really help you much. So a lot of models went down. The other thing is, and one thing that I can attribute to my own kind of inexperience with this game in general, is the fact that using PowerPoints are a very important resource in this game. And using PowerPoints up early in the game can really cost you. In this particular game, Game 3, in round 2, which is where pretty much everything happened, once that storm lifted and we can kind of see each other, all hell broke loose. And the problem was that I used those PowerPoints very early to boost my dice, during a melee attack and everything. That did help kill off the Northern Alliance commander very early in the second round, so that was good. But then in the as the round progressed, I really, and I had no PowerPoints left. I really wished I had some PowerPoints to help boost my armor saves. And that's when Northern Alliance really started pounding me, basically. A couple of models went out in round 2. you know, and not just Northern Alliance, my own models. The whole retaliate ability, it's great because it really keeps us, both players, engaged in the game. So even during my turn, you know, Northern Alliance gets to retaliate whenever I attack their models. Really adds a lot of action to the game. And during some of those retaliations, some of my models ended up losing, you know, and just pow, out of the game. And I think Northern Alliance, my opponent, she did really well in kind of manipulating her PowerPoint. She was a lot more conservative with her PowerPoints. And that really helped because I think once she saw that I had no PowerPoints, she went in and started boosting her attacks and everything else. And, you know, in some cases, that really cost me some important models. So, you know, that's just the learning process. We're still learning this game. I did poorly in this game. And I think I want to have another game with Nightstalkers. I think we're going to try and have a fourth game in Vanguard. And it'll be done tomorrow. And hopefully we can play a fourth game so that we can kind of play 2 games with Nightstalkers and Northern Alliance, and 2 games with Trident Realms and Bessalians. One thing I'm gonna say, and I don't know how Julie feels about this. Hopefully she can do a chat with me and we can kind of go over this. I really miss the Bessalians with this game. I missed their parry ability. I missed some of the abilities that the Bessalians have for like increasing power points and everything. Now, I'm going to say that the Nightstalkers are a strong faction. They're not a weak faction. They have a great, that whole dread ability, which is one of the faction abilities. It only costs 1 power point. And if you use it right, you know, you can kind of immobilize your opponent with that. A problem is that you got to have enough power points, to be able to activate that ability. And there were mistakes in this game, but we definitely found that the game went a lot quicker. We remembered a lot more of the rules. You know, we were more careful about checking the cards. And definitely the game was a lot more fun. Vanguard is an excellent game, I think, and that's my opinion. I would like to hear more of you, Julie, but judging by her smiles, and she is a bit competitive, folks, you know, she was really liking the game, and not only the game, but she is liking the Northern Alliance. So we'll see what she has to say when we wrap up Vanguard Week. So, okay, folks, and that's all. I don't want to add any more to this video. Thank you very much, and we really enjoyed this game. Have a great day, folks.